Hey folks, Mr. Eat here again for the Eat Fitness Plan. I've got another highlight presentation for you about Eat Metabolic Bargains versus Luxuries. And while this is a video for Eat members, these concepts can be applied to any weight loss or fitness plan you're on, so we want to share them with you and hope it helps everyone out. We're going to teach this by reviewing the treat meal that Mrs. Eat and I ate yesterday at the Cheesecake Factory. And we'll show you some examples. So Mrs. Eat selected the pulled pork sandwich with a couple of side dishes, and Mr. Eat selected the white chicken chili. In this case, Mrs. Eat's meal would be considered a metabolic luxury. And the metabolic luxury, it's about making decisions that offer you the best nutritional value for your plan's guidelines at that particular meal. And in her case, she chose foods that were very high calorie, very high fat, and very high carb. And that's fine. You can choose those anytime under the EAT plan anyway, if the meal allows for it, and our treat meals do allow for that. However, there were other items on the menu that she likes nearly as much, but she made a conscious decision that these were the foods that she wanted, and they were luxuries for this particular meal. Mr. Eat went the other way. He chose a metabolic bargain. There were foods, the dish was called chicken Bellagio, that I happen to like very much, but it has 2,000 calories. I like the white chicken chili nearly as much, maybe as much or more, depending on the day, and it has less than half the calories, and it's very low fat. Does have very high carbs, but for Eat at this time of day, high carbs are favorable for our metabolism. So that was a perfect meal choice as a metabolic bargain for this particular meal. It becomes even a better choice when we realized that we were going to the Cheesecake Factory for cheesecake. And so we each had a slice of the pumpkin cheesecake after we had our entrees. But don't just look at that and say, well, that's a metabolic luxury, because while it is a luxury to have a decadent dessert like that, if you know you're going to have that dessert, you have to compare it to other desserts you might eat. And so if you take a look, we've gotten the red velvet cheesecake before, and that is 1,500 calories. So if you know a piece of cheesecake is going to be part of that meal, and Eat has huge focus on planning and understanding what you're going to include in your meals, and we knew we were going to have the cheesecake, this would be a metabolic bargain to have the pumpkin cheesecake compared to what we normally might get, which could be as high as twice as many calories. And so the red velvet cheesecake would be the metabolic luxury in that example. Weren't quite done. Mr. Eat was still hungry. Dragged Mrs. Eat over to the Rite Aid for some of our favorite ice creams called cotton candy. And Mrs. Eat decided she had to have some too when we got there. So again, same analysis. Certainly a metabolic luxury to have two decadent desserts in the same meal, but Eat does allow for these things. We don't have food restrictions or calorie restrictions, so that's the way it operates. At the same time, we do always pursue metabolic bargains, so we compare it to other desserts we might eat at that time. So I did a quick comparison for you with Ben & Jerry's and showed you that the cotton candy ice cream is 50% roughly less in calories as lower fat and lower carbs than Ben & Jerry's, which some people just grab because they love that brand. It is worth searching a little bit. We happen to like cotton candy better, so for us it was not even an issue. So if you take a look at the bottom line, comparing my Mr. Eat's treat meal to what I could have selected if I didn't understand metabolic bargains versus luxuries. Start with the oat bran with cinnamon. I make this point simply because Eat involves a lot of thinking and planning for your meal, and the oat bran provides fiber. The cinnamon helps to lower blood sugar when you're eating high glycemic carbs and high carb meals like this. So I start with the cinnamon and the oat bran. I have a small apple. It has other health benefits as well. And then I had the meal, and you can see a total up to 2,420 calories. What I could have selected, I could eat a full serving of oat bran, didn't need that. Could have eaten a bigger apple, didn't need that. Could have gone my chicken Bellagio, the red velvet cheesecake, the Ben & Jerry's. It would have been 2,000 additional calories for a meal that I would not have enjoyed one bit more. So in my case, choosing the bargains made a lot of sense. Mrs. Eat wanted those luxuries, and she enjoyed them, and that worked out great for her too. But look at the difference in calories on one simple meal just by understanding bargains versus luxuries. So to summarize, understand the carbs, calories, fat, and other nutritional things that your plan features so you can make great food decisions. Choose the ones that you love the most that have the more favorable numbers for that time of day or for that meal if your plan doesn't really involve time. And it's okay to have a metabolic luxury. Here I'm eating the red velvet cheesecake at a prior meal. Just know you're choosing that luxury. And those are the highlights. So you can check out our resource library for more information, and check out our website or call us, write us with any questions, and we'll see you next time.